Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas, and today it's my proud privilege to introduce a wholesome artist. When I say wholesome, she keeps relationship as the key of her art work, and then various dimensions of relations become clear, or at least there is some stimulation that makes us think about who we are, how we are related to ourselves, and many things that connects us with way modern world is bringing challenges, and where the ancient wisdom is there to support us make the meaning of everything. It's proud privilege to introduce Seema Kohli in New York. Seema ji, welcome. This is for the first time that you are traveling to New York, though your work has traveled long ago, and it is being displayed at Rubin Museum also.
No, it is at the Age and Modernity
Right,
Gallery.
that is the
yes,
exhibition.
but of course my work is at the collection with the Rubin Museum. Yes.
30 years of your journey with art, and focus has been relation all the time. Why so?
I think that is the gist of our existence. For me, the moment we start existing, the first relationship is our relationship. Who is the first person? It is with ourselves, it is with this form, it is with this body and the soul. And then this body moves out. And then the relationships moves on to the family. From family we will move on to a society, to the country, to the whole world. And then in the end we start moving in back again. And we start questioning ourselves. I think this is a story of each one of us. And we start questioning our relationship back with ourselves. And that is what makes us what we are. So it becomes very, very, very important, because it is our relationship with ourselves which makes us what we are. It makes our relationship with the, the Prakriti or the whole kainat which is around us. It is very important to understand these relationships and make us, as I think, as satisfied human beings. So that has been my, that's what I understand, and that's why I like to paint about relationships.
So satisfied human beings is the key word, and we all seek satisfaction, and that again is related to our understanding of who we are.
Yes.
Talking about the contemporary world, when we talk about the art scene,
Yes.
there is somewhere a sense of marketing consciousness also as a part of the art world nowadays, especially when many paintings are sold over $1 million or whatever. So how do you feel there is this sense of harmony between these two aspects, philosophical and creative aspect and marketing?
Yeah, you see, when as an artist, when you start painting, I think each and every artist, they paint because it is a biological need. You paint when you become a painter, or when you are painting, it is your passion. And it is a way to communicate. For me, it is my language. I think it is a language for most of the artists. They want to communicate through their painting. Like some people, they become writers. They communicate through their writing and expressing what they are. That is a thought process. The same way, it is a thought process which we are trying to interpret in a different form. Some people try to interpret it through dance. Some people are trying to interpret it through writing, singing. So each one has their own language. And as far as an artist, this becomes, it is a stationary thing. It is, you can't call it a product, because it is a unique thought process which has gone into that piece of paper or that piece of canvas, which you, as an artist, you put it out. The moment you put it out as a show or as or exhibition also, you are exposing yourself. But in the process, there are logistics. You don't paint because there are logistics and you are going to price your painting at a certain time for this, this kind of price. But at the same time, the moment you enter the outside of your studio, there are logistics. And it is absolutely, I think, for me to come from India to, however romantic it may sound, that I'm showing in US, it has involved a lot of money in the end. So each and everything, I think it becomes, and I don't see any harm in that. But of course, when these are, when they're just, there's sometimes, there's no, I feel, reasoning to it, then it becomes a little questionable. Naturally, people want to question that, such a young artist, how can he get the same price as this artist or that artist? But I think each one to his own, yes.
Each one to his own, and I again sort of would like to connect where she said that it's not a product, it's a distinct thought process. So if you are appreciator of art, then you try to connect to the thought process, not to the price tag that is there, or somebody paid $2 million, that's why you appreciate, then probably you're not really appreciating the art, but something else.
Yes.
So we have to be clear.
And yes, and the other thing is, whenever you're buying a piece of art, please do not ever buy it because it is very expensive and it should be, maybe selling for another double the price in a few years or something. You should be buying art because you're connecting to it. It is, the moment you are trying to make it Louis Vuitton or something, some product, you are just trying to make it so small. It is not that. It is something so different because you're connecting to it. It is a part of your life. It is a part of your soul with which you're connecting. So it is totally different. It is a totally different thing.
So it is a part of your life. When we talk about India, that is a part of our life. And now if you fly to India and you land in New Delhi, then at the airport you may be appreciating a work of art which was created by artist Seema Kohli, and it's a big work of art, 10 feet by 100 feet. What is it, and how this idea of displaying these particular themes?
It was very interesting because the new airport was coming up and we were very lucky, I think, to have such an open kind of, team working there, because they involved a lot of artists and 2 or 3 of artists we were given the main spots and the main areas in the T3 International Airport. And when they called me, it was very interesting that they did not curb my, the style, or they didn't want me to do a certain thing. They told me to work on the same theme on which I'm working because it is so universal, of the golden womb. This is, we are talking about the sun, where the sun becomes the major energy source for procreating, recycling, and positively rejuvenating the whole universe, and where nothing is dying. Everything is taking place on its own. We are seeing the trees falling, we are having so many devastations, but each devastation is towards a creation of a better universe, a better world, and that is the reason it is happening. The moment you start thinking about that, I think you start getting goosebumps about the whole thing, and you wonder what is that energy that is happening. So the moment I actually get carried away, the moment I'm talking about that vital force. But coming to T3, I was told to do on the same topic. So it was something so interesting. I had a space of about 100 feet with me to express my madness. So it was amazing. So it was a very amazing experience. And the fact that it is right at the departure lounge, I get strange messages on my emails, on my website, that are you the one who has done this, that? It is amazing. So it makes me feel that I have made a communication which has gone a full circle.
And talking about the communication, our sages have been communicating
Yes.
with us through various mantras.
Yes.
And so the one which forms the theme of this
Yes,
particular
Om
work.
Hiranyagarbha Samavartatagre Bhutasya Jatah Patirek Asit Sadadhar Prithvim Dyamutema Kasmai Devaya Havisha Vedema.
Seema, many people have heard this and chanted this, but
Yeah.
the way you internalized it, tell us about the process.
You know, it was very strange that we've all, I think, grown up with the basic mantras of the havans we do at home, which are, I think, very, very normal in a Hindu home. And we grew up with these mantras, and there was a time when my mother left us, you know, and she was no more in her bodily form. And we had a very basic ritual of having a havan at home, and like you purify the home, and you finally depart the soul. And there was a priest who was doing this, and so many times I'd heard this, but I think that interpretation and that moment when he was expressing that there are thousands and millions of the moons which are resting in that Parampurush, and that those moons which never die, and those moons and suns which are constantly procreating, and the same thing, that process is never ending. It is a never dying process. And like I had such a sense of relief even when my mom departed, that I knew that she was safe, and there was something which was not going to end. You know, we are still around, and we are going to be together. So just that thought I wanted to interpret in my work, and I got so badly hooked onto that I've not been able to come out of it, because I started seeing the trees, the plants around you, the mountains, the rivers, and finally, even if I was sitting in my studio, I could see my table. And everybody would think that it is a non-living thing, but it is a living thing. It has a process. You know, it has a process which is never-ending. It has its own life in which it is going to finally merge with the soil and again be created as a tree. So, you know, everything sort of dances in front of you. It is a beautiful experience, yes. And that's what I wanted to express.
Wonderful. So that beautiful experience when everything dances in front of you, if is expressed in the form of beautiful paintings, it's worth watching, it's worth appreciating, and it's worth relating to. And that opportunity is coming our way in New York in the form of a wonderful exhibition which is titled Synchronicity. And we'll have details of the gallery where this is being displayed, but tell us how is the composition of Synchronicity?
I call this show Synchronicity because the whole show came about like that. It was just so many events which were happening at the same time, which were driving me to have a show, and not only a show, but for me to be here at the time of the show. So it was so unusual, because I like to always try to see that things are just not miracles. They have a definite meaning, you know, because I start seeing that where we do the simplest of the things, you know, simplest of the games children play, there is a reason behind what they do, you know, even if they're playing with their toys, being homemakers and stuff, they have a reason. So why won't that complete being, or Param Brahma, why won't he have a reason? So I start seeing that, and this show happened like that, and everything was falling into place, and the show was moving and on. But the only reason why I am not keeping this as the golden womb or Hiranyagarbha or the tree of life, I wanted each and every series to be present in this show, because this was the first time I was showing this, showing as a complete, solo show in New York. So that was the reason.
So solo show of Seema Kohli is in New York, but her shows have traveled away from India in many, many countries, and there have been some films based on her work. I think you were the creator of those films also.
Yeah, of course. They were the installation films. They are video installation performances. And there were 5, 6 of them that I've already done. One of the films has also got the Florence Biennale Award.
Swayam Siddha?
Swayam Siddha, Myth, Mind and Movement. In that, I've connected the sequence of myth and mind and movement. Movement is energy. Mind is time. And myth, of course, are the various stories, how the various stories, various elements of a mythology are binding to make this thing happen and to make us understand it. So I did that film on the creation of universe again, where time and energy, I tried to show that they are completely interrelated. Without time, there is no energy, and without energy, there is no time. They need each other for being there. So that was the main. I think it was very well received wherever I showed. I showed it in Spain. I've showed it in Florence. I've already showed it in New Jersey. There is a museum there, so I had already shown my work there also. So it was very interesting.
Just sort of taking away attention from Seema ji for a second, and some of you, if you are listening to her without paying full attention, you would feel that there is some substance there, but you really couldn't get the whole essence of it. So there is a demand of concentration in order to appreciate what she's saying. And also I think that sort of distinct sensibility is needed in order to appreciate her work. This also reminds me that the cycle of creation we refer to, and we talk about 84 lakh yoniya.
Yes, that was a very recent show which I had at the Indian Art Summit, 2011 in fact, and it was about the 84 million lives, 84 lakh yonis that we have. I was always very fascinated about it, because again it is talking about that constant procreation, that constant life, and in which each and every life, even as a, if you're born as a mosquito, as an ant, as a boar, I think our mythology sort of glorifies that each life is unique, and each life you can attain that liberation, that final liberation. And I thought that was amazing. That was amazing, where none of the life forms are seen as one less than the other, at all. Because we see Vishnu being incarnated as a crocodile, as a boar, anything, you name anything, as an ant when Hiranyakashipu thing happened. So, you are so, you just don't know where to stop. So I was very amazed at that, and I started with that. And I have been a philosophy student, like I've studied Greek philosophy, I've done honors in that, and Egyptian and European philosophy also. And I was very intrigued by this mythological element called Ouroboros. It is a snake which keeps on eating its own tail, and it keeps on rejuvenating. There's nothing as death. It never dies. It is constantly, that cycle is moving on. So I found the same thing. I found that, see, here is a different element. We are seeing it as a different element. Now that we are talking about 84 lakh yonis, it is the same as Ouroboros. There's no difference. It is only that there's a difference of name. And that's why I so many times think, is myth reality, or is reality a myth? It is just the same thing. So I was very intrigued with that, and that I've done 84 different life forms as paintings. And while I was painting, I wanted to perform, and I did 84 different life forms as a performance. I did a makeover from each and every life form. I became a bird, I became a snake, I became a lizard, a flower. So while I was doing this, I'm not trained theater person, and I could not move out of that performance and see it as a performance. I became the form, and it was very difficult. And in the process, I also felt sick, because suddenly the whole process becomes futile. You see that each and every life is so useless. Why are we doing it? And in the end, I was thinking, why am I doing this Ouroboros? Why am I, having this 84 lakh yonis pe show? Kya karna hai? Kya zarurat hai? So it was a very interesting revelation for me. Yes.
Interesting revelation definitely takes away our energy to certain levels where sometimes we are filled with the sense of bliss. Sometimes we are filled with the lack of the experience of the realization of being one with bliss. Medium is important, and Seema ji, you have worked, of course, with colors, but
Yes.
other than color, you also have worked on installations
Yes.
with various materials. So let's talk quickly about installation in steel.
Yeah, I have actually believed that as an artist, you're not confined to only work as a painter or as a, working on paper or canvas, because there are times when you want to move away and sort of, at least for me, it becomes and venture into a different medium. So I've worked in various mediums, like I've worked in steel, I've worked in bronze, I've worked in stone, I've worked in glass, and each medium, when I work in that, I try to see my work on paper in a different dimension. It sort of gives me another kind of a high to see the same maybe life form, even if it is a form of a tree. And you see the same tree as a metal wire, you see the same tree in bronze, you see the same tree in glass. Each one renders in a very different way, and that is what I don't do. I only work in single editions when I'm working in sculptures. I do not make various editions. It is not for the profit making or the commercial sense I go into, but I make it into completely like for my own happiness that I work in.
Let's talk about how Yajurveda and steel.
Yeah, that was an installation which I did with Jindal Steel in India. It's a huge steel manufacturing firm, and I worked with them for an installation called Yajurveda. It is a huge book that I've done in about 12 feet high book, and the pages I made also of pure steel, and in that I wrote the mantras, various mantras. Basically, it was the Shanti mantra, which was the first, which was there, and I wanted the water to flow out of it as a fountain. The idea being the knowledge never stops. It is constantly flowing, and again it sort of rejuvenates our minds, and the scriptural knowledge which is there with us since centuries, which we may not be understanding, but it's just very relevant in each and every aspect of today's life. So that was one of the...
And let's talk about the installation in bronze. And there are some which are again related to energy and process of creation.
The works which I've done in bronze are completely taken out from my paintings. They are directly taken out from the paintings that I've done, and they were referring to a certain series of Hiranyagarbha, or the golden womb, where energy takes a very pivotal role, or the Maya, or the feminine force. So most of the works are based on that, but I also believe that there is a certain harmony and balance of both the forces, the male and the female, or the yin and yang, which is there, which is, I think, expressed in all religions. When the balance is attained, there is a complete harmony of universe, of mind, of soul. So that's what I expressed in those bronze sculptures also.
Considering the limitation of time, I would once again repeat that the wonderful exhibition Synchronicity brought artist Seema Kohli to New York, but her works have been displayed here at Rubin Museum, and of course her films have been shown in various parts of the world. While we were talking, you said that there is a purpose to everything.
Yes, I believe so.
But some people probably managed to see the purpose, and many
Yes.
people keep on trying, or they see
Yes.
that there is no. So what is it that differentiates between A person to B person in terms of their ability to see the purpose?
See, I think each one is on their own path. Each one has their own baggage, and each one has their own ability. And some may reach there before, because we can never see, and we can never know where we are, honestly, because we are not at the top to see who is where. And even at the person who is on the top may be thinking he's on the top, but actually he may not be. So we can never know, and each one has their own convictions and the baggage which they have. So we can never know who is where and what is differentiating one from the other.
Now, world is a beautiful place, fascinating place, and the one who created this world is, of course, amazing, and
Yes.
you can always be in awe with the way things are around you. But we are also inspired by others who have created in the same medium. So, as a painter, have you been influenced, or you find any painter's work which you look up to?
No, I don't. I really don't, because for me, paintings have never fascinated me. Other artworks have never fascinated me. Lives have. Because even if I see a Picasso show, I pick up a book because it is talking about his life. I'm more fascinated about their lives. You know, there was a show happening here. I went yesterday to see it, and it was a beautiful show. And I was basically interested in his relationship with his daughter and how he has expressed that. And I wanted to know about his life. So I'm more interested in lives than in works. And that's what makes my work unique, I think. That's what makes me different.
So we should learn this tip from Seema ji, that in taking interest in life makes us creative. And before I let you go, when we talk about call it the term legacy, or
Yes.
how would you like to be remembered, or how you prefer your artwork being received?
I think remembered as somebody who, I don't know, maybe truthful to art and to yourself, basically, and expressing truly what you feel. Because there are no two ways, you know, and if you're true to yourself, you come out with something exceptional, only then, otherwise it isn't. So maybe that is it.
Wonderful. So truth, satya, that is the key word from the art of Seema Kohli. It was a pleasure having her with us, and I hope you enjoyed listening to her, knowing a little bit more about her thought process. And of course, you would appreciate her artwork probably a little bit more because you saw her here on ITV. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
This is Ashok Vyas. Thanks for being with us.
शान्तिः